Hi everyone, I hope you are having a great time. Today I'm going to share my experience of using this Starke Sound Beta 7 stand mount speakers that I've been using. So this one retail for $750 for a pair of them using 7-inch dual sandwich carbon fiber bass driver with 1.1-inch soft dome tweeter. Design and build quality is impressive for $750 pair of these Beta 7 speakers. Direct competition is gonna be KEF Q350, Bowers & Wilkins 600 series, JBL Studio 600 series, even DIY offering like CSS Audio 1TDX speakers. So those gonna have very tough competition with this Beta 7 in price and sound quality as well as the build quality. Overall appear to be very well built, especially this front buffer, right? The polymer material like they use in KEF LS50 speakers or ELAC reference series speakers. This kind of a front buffer is very efficient and very good in controlling vibration to reduce sonic impurity as well as those ridges on the surround of the tweeter, so that is highly beneficial in reducing reflection. And bass tuning port also have ridges to reduce the shuffling noise. Even when I push it to 95, 96 dB range with bass heavy tracks, I don't hear any baseboard noise. So when I started using this Beta 7, I started off with Class D amps like Ice Power 500 watts mono blocks, as well as entry-level budget soon to be reviewed Fios mono V3, those Class D amps, and I wasn't really big fan of it the way they sound because upper range of frequencies sound a bit thin, right? Pairing with shit audio Freya plus tube balanced preamplifier stage. Pairing with those Class D amps doesn't have good synergy in my system with this Beta 7. Then I switched it over to Gallium Audio TSA 75 Class AB amp. Sound is much improved, better bass quality and control, as well as very nice open mid-range with smooth and airiness in high frequency extension that it can produce. So I was pretty impressed the way that it sounds. And then I was breaking in the soon to be reviewed X9 300B tube amplifier from Music Share. So I tried that and wow, musical, magical, pairing with that 300B, 8 watt only. So impressive that I have to pick up my jaw from the floor, right? That kind of sound quality. And then I changed to my main system using this KD88 tube integrated amp, and sound is smooth and rich with articulated notes as well as very nice bass quality. This Beta 7 truly need good quality amplifier to get the best out. So they don't sound bad with those entry-level amps, but it's not they're not gonna be able to bring the best out of it. And then I measure it in room response as you will see it here. So I started off with the mono measurement from 3 feet away. It will not be bright sounding speaker. Bass response to upper mid-range to high frequency extension, everything is well behaved. After single speaker measurement, I also try stereo measurement from my listening position, as you can see it here. So bass response is very, very impressive for stand mount speaker. As you can see, stereo measurement and mono measurement graph here. So those are in-room response measurements that I did in my room. Overall sound quality totally reflect those measurement results as well, because when I pushed it, the bass quality and quantity and authority is Very, very impressive for stand mount speaker, especially when I'm using this Accuface E4000 pairing with DMP A8 from Ever Solo using right cable, Daedalus XLR cable, speaker cables, and sound is phenomenal, meaning authority and full scale sound that it can deliver. Deep and rich bass quality with very nice dynamic attack, yet nothing is forward in sound quality or sound signature. The upper range of frequencies are very well behaved with nice detail and extension to it. If you are really used to some of the brighter side of speakers such as Bowers and Wilkins speakers, you may find it rolled off. So when I was listening to such as Led Zeppelin music, right? So Robert Plant vocals and John Bonham, the kick drums and snare drums are so nicely reproduced with very good authority to it, with nice clarity as well. Jimmy Page guitar solos are nicely reproduced. If any speaker sound great with hard rock or those kind of music, it will sound phenomenal with any kind of music in general. So I tried that. I listened to a lot of Led Zeppelin tracks. I tried AC/DC tracks, and it sounded very good authority and dynamic with the full sound signature, that room filling dynamic sound that it can deliver without getting right in front of your face or getting bright kind of sound. None of them that you will hear. It will produce nice and deep and rich sound quality. But please keep in mind, it does need good quality amplification. For pairing wise, Yamaha, Denon, or Luxman in general will most suited to this Beta 7 than my Accuface E4000 in overall long-term pairing, because Accuface E4000 tend to have a little bit softer side of high frequency extension. This Beta 7 also have a similar sound signature, so it doesn't work really well with some tracks. So when I compare it back to back with KEF R3 Mater, it's all come down to personal taste, right? Because KEF R3 Mater, I mean, it's totally double the price, more than double the price. But when it's pushed it, this Beta 7 is almost as good in power handling as well as deeper bass quality that it can deliver. So R3 Mater was suffer after 95 dB or so in bass response wise. So when I push those two tracks, some of my regular tracks are Daft Punk and Dua Lipa tracks, right? So Daft Punk track, all the bass will come in all together. So a lot of speaker in high SPL doesn't do well, especially these kind of stem mount speakers, but this Beta 7 doesn't suffer. As you can see, I pushed it 95 dB max range, and it produced so well and so powerful in bass quality and overall sound quality wise. And highs slightly starting to show limitation. So when I try Dua Lipa, Don't Start Now, right? That track has all the bass and highs and everything come together with her vocal. So stereo image is right here in the middle, but not as precise as I would like to be. But the placement, I play around with it. In the end, I put them a little over 6 feet apart and probably like 18-degree toe in kind of a placement to get the best out. So if you put them really close together, its sound can be a bit congested and thick and a little lifeless sounding. So you might want to spread them out at least 6 feet apart from each other, and it will give you immersive soundscape that you can enjoy. So when I was pushing that Dua Lipa Don't Start Now track, right, after I reached to 95 dB range, I keep on going and the high starting to get a little bit out of control. Other than that, overall high SPL performance is pretty impressive for $750. If you compare it to such as a JBL Studio 630, so which is going to be like direct competition in price point. So JBL, the compression driver is slightly better in that regard when you pushed it to high SPL. But bass quality, this Beta 7 is more impressive. Mid-range quality is very nicely reproduced, rich side of tone and balance in overall mid-range sound signature of this Beta 7 is vocals and voices are very accurately reproduced with a little bit of richness to it. Even piano tones or guitar notes have a little bit of richer side of sound signature. It can produce very nice, good quality stereo image. It may not be super precise stereo image, but it's there. Only downside for me is that's most of the two-way speaker in this price point is if I'm listening to my reference level, right, 75-80 dB range, the upper mid-range area notes refinements and separation is I just want slightly more. That's for my taste, right? Because I'm so used to with three-way design speaker, so that is my personal preference. And sometimes I have to see subwoofer power switch because I want to make sure it's off. It happened like 2 times because I thought my subwoofer was on because bass is so impressive. So this is the speaker. If you want stand mount speaker, probably you may not need subwoofer to listen your favorite jazz music or even your rock band. It can do it all. Forgiving sound, yet it has a nice resolution and definition that you can enjoy listening to it. Another thing that really impressed me about this Beta 7 is no matter what the impedance or sensitivity rating is, it sounded so good with low power tube amplifiers. Speaker that you can enjoy in any level of loudness. Let's say if you are listening to low level listening like 45 to 55 dB range, it will still give you nice and impressive soundscape with detail and authority in bass quality. So which is one of the highlight of this Beta 7 aside from overall, high SPL bass quality. So low level listening is good. My reference level listening is pretty impressive. High level listening is one of the best, if not the best in the price range. When it's come to bass quality and definition and authoritative control without destroying the actual soundscape and quality of the bass, this one is one of the most impressive one that you can get for $750 for a pair of them. This Starke Sound Beta 7 will work well with any kind of music, but you just need to pair with transparent sounding components in general to get the best out. If you pair with warm and rich sounding setup, it may not suit well. Overall sound signature of Beta 7 is rich, smooth, and deep side of sound signature. Width is pretty impressive as well as depth that it can offer even in low level listening. So price is right, performance is great, sound quality is very impressive. I can easily recommend it to you to try it, my friend. Highly recommend it. Thank you for watching and happy listening.
Did you say I've got a lot to learn? Well, don't think I'm trying not to learn. Since this is the perfect spot to learn, so teach me tonight. The sky is a blackboard high above you. If a shooting star goes by, I'll use extra to write I love you 1,000 times across the sky. One thing is very clear, my love. Should the teacher stand so near, my love, the graduation's almost here, my love. So teach me tonight, 'cause you know what's gonna teach us. The sky's a blackboard high above you. If a shooting star